Hello, Brian here. I hope you're doing well. So we have a project here. We have data of a company, a coffee company, and we have three sheets, and we want to make sense of it and come up with, work out solve some problems. Majorly three. For this project, we will want to see the company is a coffee sale company. So the company wants to know coffee sales over time, sales since it started up to last year, and then they want to know sales by country and the top five customers for our coffee. Uh, so this is the data we have for the coffee company. We have orders, which is the order ID, order date, customer ID, product ID, and quantity. We also have information about customers, uh, Sorry about that. We have information about customers. We have the customer ID, customer name, email, phone number, address line, city, country, postcode, and loyalty card. Whether they have a loyalty card or not. For the product, for the product table or sheet, we have this is the information about quantity, the kind of coffee type or roast type that the company sells, and price, unit price. So for this, we have the product ID, coffee type, we have the roast type, we have the size, we have the unit price, price per 100 grams, and profit. So we want to use all this information to solve our three major issues, to determine the coffee sales over the years, and sales by country, and type of top five customers for our coffee. So remember that's the main issues we want to solve in this project. To do this, for the top five customers, we'll need to add some information here to the orders, to our order sheet. We need to add some information to make our analysis, to make sense of our data. We can't actually have move over and over. We want all the information in the same sheet so that our analysis will be faster. So for to determine the top five customers, we'll need the customer name. From the customer sheet here, we can see we have the customer name. So we can pull this information here. And then we will also need the sales column, because the top five, we need a sales column. We'll need to calculate that because we actually don't have that column anyway in this sheet, in these tables, in this sheets. I mean, we don't have any information about that. So, but we know, if you can see here, this is the unit price, and we know sale, and on the order step we have the quantity, and we know that sale is equals to unit price multiplied by quantity. We'll have to calculate that later. So for this, we'll have the customer, name, and then for for country, sales by country, we'll need a country. We have country column here. We'll need that information here. Country of the country, and Next, for to determine coffee sales over time, uh, we need to look at actually all this information: the type of coffee, roast type, and size, and the unit price. So we'll need all this information for our analysis. So to do this, we'll come add a column for a header for coffee, sorry, coffee type, and then we'll add another for roast type, and roast type, and then we'll add another one for size. Next, we'll add another one for size. And then we'll add another one for what is it? Let me look at it here. We have coffee roast type, size, unit price, and unit price. Unit price. Okay, let's do this so that we can have everything looks great. And now we can use the quantity and unit price to determine sales. Right. We'll also need to check over the years coffee sales based on loyalty card. Those customers with loyalty, loyalty. Add that column. Let's see how it loyalty card. Okay, that looks good. So we need to populate all this information here. Great. We start with customer name. We have a customer name. That okay. Yeah. So uh, we will need to use either an XLOOKUP or a VLOOKUP. For this, used to VLOOKUP. Let's use the VLOOKUP. So we can use VLOOKUP. So for this, we want the lookup value for our case. If this is our primary, let me first explain. This is our primary key. If you notice, this is the customer ID here, but on this, it's here. It's like the primary key in this table. The same for product ID. This is our foreign key, but in the product ID, it's the main. It's the main key, primary key. So let's use that information to pull the data to this table. So we use the VLOOKUP, and then check that as our lookup value. We look at the array. So for the array, can check that. Can highlight the whole table. That's okay. That's okay. Or we can just highlight. There's no problem. You can highlight the top part. We just highlight the two that you need. The information you need is customer name. No need to highlight the whole of it. So we hit F4. We lock that in, and then we check on our table which column it is. The column number for our customer name, it's 2, and then we put 0 for the exact match. Alright, that's the name. So we can highlight here to get all the information for that. And then for the next one, country, we do the same. How we look up this, we do the That is a lookup value. Our array, we go up to country. Now we lock that in, hitting F4, and then we come check what is the number for that column. The column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's number 7. That's the information we need from. That's the column we need information from, and that looks okay. Now that looks good. So we highlight that. We have all the information we need. So we can use the VLOOKUP for the rest of the columns remaining, but if we are keen, we can see that this this information, coffee type, roast type, size, unit price, is exactly the same as this. Like the columns are just the same in terms of order, in terms of how they're ordered. So instead of using the VLOOKUP for each and every column, we can use the index match function to pull the information at once for all the columns. To do this, we will use the index. Let's try that. We'll have index. So for the array index, if I might explain the index, you pull information from an array based on a row and a column. For our case, we don't have an exact row, but we can use the match function to pull the information for the row and the the column. All right. So let's start for the array. For our array, this is our array. We will need to pull information from this top part to the lower part. That's our array. We lock that in by hitting F4. And we now get information for the row. For the row, we'll use the match function. For the match, and we have to specify the lookup value. So the lookup value for this is the product ID, and product ID, the array is this. Yeah, that's the array. We lock that, and we want the exact match. Close that. Okay, there's something here we have to do. So for the lookup value, we want this. Let me move this a bit. We want this column to stick at D, at column D, so that it doesn't move. When the only movement should be from the row 2 downwards or upwards, but not to C or E. So to lock that in, we use the $sign at D, so that won't be moving, but 2, 3 will be moving downwards. All right. So for for the other information for the column, use the match again. For this, we'll need information relating to the column, and the column here is R. Is the column here is this: the coffee type, roast type, size, unit price, and sales. All right. And our array, that's the lookup value. Our array is this. So that's the column array. We hit F4. Now we want the exact match. But if you remember again, we have to lock this in at row 1 so that it doesn't move down. but it can move sideways or column based on columns. I hope you're getting it. I hope it looks good. Let's try and see if we have everything is okay. Okay, now that's great. So that's how the formula is. To understand the formula, you must know how to come up with the match and then the index. So for this, we can highlight that. The information is now okay. And then I will click the info. We have everything now. It's a complex function, but a lot of effort needs to understand it, right? So let's do the cells. We know that cells equals to, we know that cells equals to unit quantity multiplied by unit price. We do that, and do that, we get that information. All right. So let's do the VLOOKUP for this column. So we do the VLOOKUP. Our it's in the customer table, if you remember. That's the lookup value, our array. This now the whole table, our array is in the whole table. All right, let's count. We can lock this in, and then we can check the column number 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll have to delete this. That was a mistake. 9. Let's see. That looks good. Right now we can find that that's okay. Now we have this data. We can use this data to determine our three main objectives. But if we look at it, someone can't really tell what does rob mean, what does m mean for these two, this column and this column. So we might need to come up with full names for what this means. Somebody can't know what D means, L means, or rob, R or something. So let's create a new column for coffee type name, right? And then let's populate this first. Okay, so for this we'll need to use the if function. If there were only a few, well, we can use the replace, but we'll have to use it one by one. However, to make things a bit faster, we'll use the if function. So we will start with if sorry if rob if rob, if that cell equals to rob, sorry, equals to rob, return robusta. Okay, return robusta. Otherwise, so for otherwise we'll have another another if, otherwise if the same if the same equals to uh, e exa return. Exe stands for, let me remember, x x that's x it's xi x. I don't know, maybe even the spelling is right, but we'll just put it like that, x cells. Okay, otherwise I don't know whether the spelling is correct, actually it's okay. uh, Otherwise another function, otherwise if, otherwise if same h2 uh, equals to error. We have four types of, we actually have four, four types of coffee debt. Otherwise if it's error, otherwise if it's error, let's have it as arabica, arabica the three, or else if if it is lib, else if h2 equals to lib. No, that's a bit long. Else if it's equal to lib, hmm, let's have it as librica. Librica, I don't know. I guess it's librica. Spelling for now. We want to focus on the spell, spelling. Okay, so that's it. Otherwise, if none of it is that, let's have it as blank. Librica. Okay. X. Let's look at the function. If it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, if it's okay. So we have to close for all our equations. We have to add another bracket, another one, and another one for all the four functions. If robusta, if x, so if arabica, if librica. That looks great. Let's try. There is a problem with it. Let's look where's the problem. If if that uh-huh uh-huh ara, uh-huh okay, let's try and get rid of this opening bracket and see if we have everything correctly. Let's try that. There's the opening. It's a bit easy to get confused, but it will save us a lot of time if we get it. Okay, that's it. That's great. Oh no, that's good. Now for this we have all the information in full. Let's look at the roast type, right? Roast type. Let's for M. M stands for medium, L large, and D there are only three. We'll just use the same if function to save our time. So we say if if this this cell, uh, let's have it as a, if it's M, let's have it as a medium, right? Else uh, if the same cell equals to L, so if equal to L, let's have it as the 8, and if and, else if, sorry, alright, else if, I don't know what's the problem. Let me write it as check and see what's the problem. Else if this, probably let's edit this and see if, else if L2 I2 equals to, we'll see the problem. If the problem equals to D, we have it as dark. Have it, otherwise let's have it as blank. Blank. So let's look at this if there's a problem. Let's close all that for the three functions. That looks good. That is okay. Let's look at the whole equation. Let's hit and then try if it's okay. There is a problem. So, right, it looks okay. And then, where's the problem? I kind of consider it. Now, what are the spaces? Let's chance it. The problem still persists. Let me see where is the problem. If light, if L, if what, dark equals to that. Alright, L2 equal to L, I2 equals to D2. I can see where the problem lies. That, okay. Alright. M L D. A minute, guys. A minute. It should be M. This should be clear, man. Don't know why there's an issue with this. Okay. That's small. Was that small mistake. Okay, now that looks great. Sorry for waiting. I hope this will work. No, that's okay. Sorry for the wait. Sometimes when you have a long function, things can have problems. No, so that's okay. And now that is our data, our information. So we will treat this as our main table. What else do you want in our cleaning now? What else might we want? So for this table, for this column, let's change it to, let's have it as a date and then month by name or text. We highlight it and then we hit format cell. We check date and then we want it to be this. Alright. Should we have it? No. Let's have it like that. That looks great. We have the date, month, those text, and then here. So that's okay. What else do we want to change here? What else might we want to change? Okay, now for the size, someone can ask, what about the size? What is this size? What is 1? What is 0.44 for this column? I was talking about this column. Somebody can ask what is 0.5, what is 1? So we also need to format this and have it actually as cages. And let's have uniformity. Let's have 0. Let's have 1 decimal place. So for that, we'll go to format again, where you right click, and then we can have a custom. So let's have it as our, let's let it be 0.0, our custom decimal, and let's add a string kg like that. Let's see if it works. Okay, that looks good. Everything that looks great, right? And now, what else might we want? We can format this as these two words, because in US dollars or a currency, we can format this and this as a currency. That's okay. That looks great. And now we have the data that we need. We have cleaned it. Now let's check for duplicates. Let's check for duplicates and see if there are any duplicates, because data looks, everything looks in place. So let's check for duplicates. Remove duplicates. Okay, no duplicates, so everything looks great. So this is our main table. This is our main table. Let's make a copy of it so that just in case anything happens, we can always come back. So let's create a new sheet, and I call it, let's create a new sheet and call it worksheet. Let's rename it to work. No. Let's call it orders. Sorry, let's call it orders worksheet. Copy this data. There are many ways to copy, but I like highlighting everything. hitting Control C, sorry, and then coming to the top of this table, and then I usually paste it as special, and then values and source formatting. So that comes as it is, but the formulas are no longer there, so we can't be affected by the formulas, but in whatever changes we make. You can see for this, there are no formulas, we only have the data. But for this first one, we have the formulas and the functions. I mean, the functions are there. So if you delete one, it will affect one column, it might affect another column. So for this, it's okay. So everything looks okay. Aha, we can start our pivot table. We can start creating our pivot table. So before we even start the pivot table, we will need to make things easier. We will need to delete first this, because we don't need this two. We want to be this one to use it anywhere, because we already have them here. So that's okay. So to start off, let's have this as a table before we start creating the pivot table. Let's have this as a table. You can go to insert, or you can hit Control T. We'll go to insert, have it as a table. Hello, great. Our pivot table, we will insert pivot table. We'll have a new sheet. All right. So for this sheet, we will call it sales over time, because that's our first. Remember, our main objectives were three: sales over time. We wanted to determine sales over time, and sales by country, and our top 5 customers. So for this, let's call it sales over time. Right. So to do this, we will have to determine sales over time. Let's look at the orders. Orders. We have now orders over the last 4 years, and that's okay. But we want to look at them by months as well. And if possible, we can get rid of the grand totals. If possible, let's get rid of the grand totals. I mean subtotals. We have done that. So for the values, we'll check cells. And now we don't want this. Let me first remove this. Let me remove it first. We want it by months. It's over time. So we want it to show us sales by months. So for this, we will need to group this. We'll need to group this. 11 to group this. So if you see here, it has months, quarters and years. So let's get rid of quarters and just have months and years. Oh, that's okay. And just for purposes of having a nice table, we can, for the design, we can just choose a layout that is tabular. Okay, that looks great. Now that's great. We've gotten rid of the subtotals. That's okay. So we can move on with our cells. That's the totals. So we will need to look at the type, coffee type, yeah, and roast type. Now let's move this to make this a bit neat and understandable. Let's have it as columns. Let's move this here and see we can. It's always good to play around. Yeah, that table looks great for me. I believe it looks great. Yeah, we have the coffee types and each month in the year. So there are a lot of decimals here. So we can correct that by going to the sum. Let's value field setting, number format. Let's reduce the numbers. Let's reduce the numbers to 0, the decimal points I mean. Let's have them 0. Oh, that's okay. That's great. That's good. That's great. Now we can. Everything looks great. Everything okay. I believe everything looks good. Now we can insert based on this, we can insert our chart. Our pivot chart. Let's do a line graph. Line chart. Let's do a line chart. Okay. I think that will be okay because it's a long period. We will have that. For this, we will need to edit it. First, you might not need this drop down. Let's hide all field buttons in the chart. And then now, let's rename our axes. Let's have them, all of them, in the title. Right. So for the title, let's call it Sales Over Time. The title for the x-axis, y-axis I mean, sorry. We call it sales in dollars. In dollars. So it's in dollars for the y-axis. Let's have it for the y-axis. Let's have it at the time. That's okay. Okay. All right. I think that's okay. If you want a lot of designs. If we want a lot of designs, we can. I can. But for us, we want to have a timeline so that if our company boss or the stakeholders want to know what this is from 2019 to 2022. So if somebody wants to know what happened between June 2020 to December 2020, what how can we have a graph that only shows information for that period? So for this, we will need to insert a timeline. So we will hit the pivot table. We will highlight our table and then go to insert timeline. We'll need to have it here. It's here. So that's it. All right. So we have our timeline here for all that period. You can It can be customized in any way. So for me, I'll go with that. Let me see that. No. That. No. Let me just go with that. Because the color blends with the chart, with our chart. Okay. So now that looks great. So if someone wants to check, let's have it a bit bigger and see what happens. Okay. So if somebody wants to check information for 6 months, for the first 6 months, that's it. The table will show information for that 6 months. And if it's the first 1 year, the table will show that information. Okay, now that looks great. We have the cells over time. Okay, so we will want to do our second chart or pivot table. But what if now for this we have the time for this we have the timeline. But what if somebody wants to know the sales based on coffee type? What do they do? So for this we will use a slicer. We'll come up with slices. Let's have 3 slices for for let's have 3 slices. Let's have one for loyalty card so that we can look at how those with loyalty cards have been faring. And then we'll have another one for roast type. And then we will have another one for, let's say, size. How the site been faring over the years. Okay. So those are our slices. You can put them anywhere for the time being. Okay. So those are, you can put them here. You can resize them appropriately. Okay. Let's have them there for now. So let's try. That changes. Okay. Over the years. Alright. Okay. Let's clear that. You can check dark roster. Okay. You can clear that. Check. Yes, over the years. Okay. Let's clear this so that you can look at the whole time period. So we can check that. Let's see those. Alright. Clear that. Check back how things have been. Okay, now that looks great. So we have sales over time based on roast type, size, quantity, kgs, and loyalty, those with loyalty cards or not. So we can go to the next one. The second one will be oh no, this is the main one. So we can get confused. Let me put this in order so that I don't get confused. That looks great. That's okay. So we come up with another pivot table. So we are through with sales over time. over time. So the next one, we will look at sales by country. That's a bit easy. Let's do pivot table. Let's do a pivot table and call it let's call it sales by country. Sales country. Right. Let's move it to this further end. And now that's a bit easy. We can drag our country to the row, can drag our cells to that farthest end, and we get rid of those decimals. 0 value field setting, number format, number, decimal place. Okay, that's great. Now we can insert our chart. For this, I guess we'll need to use a bar chart. A bar chart will look great. A bar chart. It's okay. And probably we might need to put this in, sort them in ascending or descending order in whichever case. Right? Let's get rid of this fill button. Let's probably have data labels. That looks great. And now let's have the title as what should be the title? Sales by country. Sales by country. Alright. Let's have the other axis. Sales by country. Sales by country. Let's have it as sales in dollar. Let's have it as country. This let's have it as a country. Let's have it as a country. No. Now that looks great. Alright. I guess that's all for that table. What if we want to have, let me check the other table as well. Let's have all the values in, let's have all these values because it's, alright. Let me look at the orders. Alright. I want to have all this information in dollars. Let's have all this because they are cells. Let's have them all in dollars. I think it would be nice like that. Let me try and see if we can have them in dollars. Currency. Yeah. Let's have them in dollars. Yeah, like that. It's set in dollars. Okay, that looks great. The same, I'll do it for this. Let's have this in dollars. Alright, currency. That looks great. Okay. We go to the next one. We go to our next pivot table for our top 5 customers. That's also a bit easy. our top 5 customers. So we insert a pivot table in our new chart. We can call it our top 5 top 5. Top 5. Customers. Right, so then now we go here, we have it as a, we can move our customer name to a row, and then we check our sales as our values. Alright, so this is what customers have bought. Let's have this again as we are done for the others. Just have them as dollars to no decimal places. Yeah, to 0 decimal places. That looks great. But if we create a chart for this, it will be messy. Let's try and see. Let's try and see now. If we create a chart for this, it will look messy. So I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. That's a lot. So to change this, to correct this, let's have the top 5. So for this, you go to value filters, top 10, but here you change from 10 to 5. Okay, that looks great. So those are our top 5. We can arrange them in sending order for better visualization. Sending order, whichever. Let's have this data labels. Okay, let's get rid of this as usual. That is okay. So let's rename our access. So for our title, we call it top 5 customers. Right. And for our access, we can call it sales in dollars. And then for our x-axis, we can call it customers. Right. That looks great. I believe we are almost through. Actually, we are through. Let's just have this in its table, and now let's put all this together in the dashboard. A dashboard. Right. So for this, we'll have to move everything that we have created to this. So let's highlight the first one. Hit Control, the second one, third one, fourth one, and then that. We can now copy. Let's copy that. Come here and paste it somewhere here. Okay. The next table. This one we can copy it. Very easy. Have it anywhere in this place. We'll reorganize it. Paste it. Control V. And then for the last one, we copy it. And then we hit Control V. Control V. That's okay. So let's see how we can organize all this information. Let me zoom out a little bit and see what we can do for all this information to reorganize it so it can look appealing. Let's have this here. Let's have this let's have this at the center. Let's have this here. Let's have this here. We can make make it a bit longer. All right, that's better. Let's make it that long, and then all right, that looks great. We can have this here. No, let's convert this to three columns instead of one. Do that. Let's have this as three. Okay. All right. Let's have this as columns as well. Two columns. Let's size this a little bit like that. Right. Let's also resize this like that. Like that. So for this, let's have this chart because it's a bit. Let's have this here. I can resize it a bit. Let's have it over a bit that way, and then this. Let's make it a bit smaller. All right. Let's have this get to this end, and then that to that end. Right. Let's make it a bit smaller if possible. And then for this, let's stretch it a bit like that. And then this, stretch it a bit. This a bit bigger. Right. We can now have our normal. Let's get rid of this. So we got our three tables. About three tables or three charts. I mean. All right. So if somebody wants to check that moves, right? If they want to, but now if these other tables, these other our bar chart, our bar charts are not moving. It's only the line chart. To correct this, we need to do reconnections. So we need to hit this, go to report connection, and then select all the other tables. The same for this, report connection for all the other tables, and then report connection for all the other tables as well. The same for this, so that when we move one of this, okay, let's report connection. That's now okay. So for this, for now, if we move for 1 year, we can see how things change for 1 year in terms of sales by country or top 5 customers in the first 1 year. If it's in the first 2 years, over the first 1.5 year, we can still see the top 5 customers. The information is in the sales over time on the top and sales by country. The same applies for dark. So the table, the dashboard changes with whatever we want, right? So to make it, the last part is to have the title. Let's have a big title. No, let's have it a bit. Okay, let's have it. So for this, I'll merge the cells and then call this coffee cells. Coffee, sorry, coffee cells dashboard. Right? Let's have it a bit bigger. Let's have it 72. Yeah. Let's have the back, change the background color to, let's have it like that. You can delete this and delete this. Can delete also that. So they can be closer to each other. And I believe that looks great. Let's have this move a bit down. Let's move that way. This can move a bit this way. And now that's our dashboard for that. So we can also get rid of this grids. Can remove that. And now that's our dashboard. That's our final dashboard. So that's how it looks. If somebody wants to check sales size by size for each country, for loyalty, everything changes with whatever is required. And now that's how it is, and that is my first project. Thank you.